Hi, this is Michelle Cullen, Astronomy 103, Prince William Sound College in beautiful Valdez, Alaska. Today I'm going to go over Learning Objective 1, which is describing how stars that we can see with our eyes are not always typical. How many stars can you see on a typical night? Billions and billions? Hundreds? Thousands? Well, of course, it depends on the night sky. It depends on how dark it is, if the moon is out, how hazy the clouds are, and of course, it depends on light pollution. So, if you're in an ideal viewing situation in a dark sky on a moonless night, what do you think? The answer is 6,000. How do you get that number? You can count a sample and do the math. I'll just show you briefly how you do that. If you take your fist at arm's length, that is a 10-degree in the night sky, 10 degrees that you can see. And if you were to make a square out of your fingers and count the number of stars in there, if you got as many as 15 and you don't move your hands around, try to brace it, you could multiply and do the math and figure out how many that would be in the entire sky. Well, it turns out that your frame that you make with your hand is 10 by 10 or 100 degrees squared. Well, the whole night sky is about 42,000 degrees square. Excuse me. So that means that if you divide it by your 100 degree square patch, there's about 420 of these fist size patches, all that would cover the night sky. And if you took the number that you counted in the one fist and multiplied it by 420, then you could get an approximation of how many stars would be visible. And if you were really good, you would get around 15 stars in that patch, and that would be about 6,000. That means you have to have pretty good eyes too. Turns out most stars, you can see so many more stars if you just open up the amount of light that comes into your eye by using some binoculars or a telescope. Even simple binoculars can expand the amount of light that gets to your eye and will reveal many more stars than you can possibly see, many more than the 6,000. So these stars that are luminous for our eyes are by definition 6 magnitude or less. Remember, the lower the number, the brighter the luminosity. And there are some bright stars that are far away, that are very far away that we can see. We can even see the Andromeda galaxy, which is very far away with our naked eye. We'll see that there's a lot of dim, cool stars nearby that are like gnats down the street or mosquitoes. We cannot see them. So most of the stars we can see are sort of the main sequence stars that are somewhat nearby, and then some of the rare bright stars that are far away. And we'll be learning all about the stars and their spectral classes. But for now, this is just a general overview that the bigger, brighter stars are more luminous. Those are the O and Bs. And then fine, F, G, K are sort of the more going down, getting less luminous. And then M-type stars are the red dwarfs, and they're very faint and very dim. Which stars do you think are the most common? Well, it turns out that the dim red dwarfs live the longest. They outlive the bright, shiny, bright, super blue, hot O and B type stars. So they basically outlive everyone, so there's more of them. There are more type M stars in the universe than any other type of stars. And if we could do a survey of our local neighborhood, which is about 21 light years across, and count all of the stars and suns in our neighborhood, it would turn out that most of those stars would be type M stars. Now, in this class, you're going to be learning all about the spectral types of stars. We're going to be learning about O, B, A, fine, girl, and kiss me, or O, B, A, F, G, K, M. We'll learn about also the brown dwarfs and neutron stars and other kind of stars too, but those are most of the main sequence of stars we're going to be learning about. And so just again, if we're looking out at the sky, we're not going to see stars necessarily in our neighborhood that are dim, but we can see stars that are far away that are really bright. And those are the OB stars. And we can see stars. There aren't any O stars nearby. There are a few B and A and F stars that are main sequence, like Sirius, the brightest star of the sky, Altair, and Vega. We can see those that are very bright. And we can also see some red giants too that are far away and very bright. But other than that, we're just limited. Those 6,000 stars are mostly the main sequence stars and not necessarily what's in our neighborhood. So there we go.